what we're talking about is the muscles that you use when you shrug. So if I were to sit here in my chair, we'll stay in the chair for a little bit. And we all know that is a shrug, right? And we're basically using the muscles attached to the neck that go down to the shoulder. And of course, the shoulder blade floats, can go up and down. So we tend to have a lot of tension here from whatever you might be doing, whether it's on the keyboard or driving or whatever. And at the end of the day, you might go, oh boy, my shoulders ache. And it's often those muscles. And one of the things that we always say in Tai Chi Cha is less is more. So there's only a couple of movements where we're going to engage those, hopefully to a minimum. And that would be, of course, light at the top of the head, where you've got to bring the shoulders in a little bit to get your hands up, and a little bit at the temple, but less. So I want you to kind of think about not only to relax the shoulders down, but also to kind of think about a little stretch in your neck. Can I get my head a little more stretched out of my torso? And that normally will help you relax here a little bit. Some other things to do, that's why I'd like to stay in the chair a little bit, is you can actually reach down and get the underside of your chair. And I'm going to lean in this direction and stretch that trapezius muscle a little. And let's do it on the other side. And you can kind of feel maybe a little tightness there. I do. I feel a little tightness in there. And say, oh, okay. And when I relax it and relax my arm a little, I get a little bit of stretch, and I'm not fighting the stretch so much. So let's just look at a few movements in rocking motion. We're coming back and forth, rocking on the feet. But where does this arm come up? And if it starts to, the elbows start to extend out, I'm probably starting to lift a little bit. So that I've got a little lift going. Now let me take a little of that out of there. Notice my hands don't float up quite as high because I'm trying to relax those shoulders and thinking about stretching my neck up. So in essence, with all of our movements, the key is that we're going to be working in this range where our arms will come up from our elbow. Our elbow won't move that much out from our body, regardless of the movement. That's why we don't go to straight hands when we're doing a movement. We keep a little softness in the elbows. So the notion is this does not vary, and it varies a bit because, for example, in pulling in the energy, I am moving forward, and so my weight now is over. So I would, if this arm's relaxed at the shoulder, I would be a little bit, this arm would be a little extended from my body. So the other thing we don't want to do is come back so tight that now I've got the elbow behind me. So this may not engage those muscles, but it's again, less is more. And if I did have the hands up here, sure enough, I would engage this a little. So there's one other I want to look at just, and then we kind of open it up and play with it a little bit more. And I'm sure Linda's will have some helpful comments. So it's carry the ball to the side. So when we do carry the ball to the side, where's this hand when it comes here? if I'm keeping the elbow close to the side of my body, it should come about there. If I start to put a little bit more energy into it, it'll start to come up here. Now I'm starting to move and again, raise that shoulder a little bit. So where is that? Am I keeping that elbow down and things relaxed? Or am I starting to pick it up and therefore move and engage the shoulder more? So this versus this. Hope you can see the difference. So that would be the same even in carry the ball to the side. Am I keeping the elbows relaxed, thinking of stretching that neck? Or am I engaging these just ever so slightly? One more real quick, and that's joyous breath. When we do joyous breath, of course, we step out, we sink down, we come up. So where are my hands here? From the side, notice my elbow hasn't floated out from my body. My hands are up here. I really, when I do this movement, I really think about settling down, stretch of the neck, stretch that neck up and let the hands just stop. And for most of us, that'll be around a little less than shoulder height. And then we roll the hands down and press. And of course, we're pressing, again, not with the shoulders, we're pressing with the dantian, which means we're pressing from the whole body down. So we're using our body weight, in essence, to push down.
Okay. Tom, I wanted to ask a question about when you're doing the movement of moving the ball to the side versus like passing clouds. Are the elbows in the same position for both as you're cutting across, or is passing the ball to the side more of a movement like this, like a hippodrome, and the other one is more like a sort of a circle type thing?
Great question, Bob. Carry the ball to the side is probably the easier one to kind of think about. We're carrying a ball and our arms are also making a circle. So the tendency sometimes is to kind of, again, at the bottom of the stroke, let the elbows relax and then they drop. So this should still be a circle. So what happens when we're doing the circle is our wrists are moving like this a bit, if that makes sense. So of course, there's rotation of the body in that one. Carry the ball is the same way. Carry the ball, this is still a circle. And look at all the wrist action that goes along with the circle. If I start to move up, I've engaged the shoulder. If I start to relax the arm too much and go down, I'm going to sort of make my circle more of a egg shape. So it's really just a circle within a circle. So, and carry the ball aside would be the same way. It's just a circle within a circle. I wasn't really rotating my hips with the other one. The taffy. So this is another good one where think about stretching that neck. So you see how, again here, I'm not going to drop the arm down to come under, that's extra energy. Still going to have flex in those, in the elbows. So this is often described sort of like a figure eight. I don't know that that's a good description. if you've ever seen an actual taffy making machine, which is a machine that stretches the taffy, it's a little more circular than this, but that's where this comes from. So this is a little bit more linear. It's like we have a little circle on this end and a little circle on that end, where the hands kind of come around. But that's quite a bit of shape difference to me. But the notion of what's going on up here is completely the same. Nice and relaxed. And it should be, because again, this is elbows staying down. This has got a little more intentional of keeping the elbows to the side, because it's easy to get them out. And then I start to do this, as opposed to keeping them nice and relaxed at my side. It's easy to almost turn it into a bit of a dance, and you want to, there's almost a little expression thought with your body. And Justin always said it's not a dance, it's Tai Chi. So, but it is interesting how the whole practice through all of our movements really does minimize the engagement of a lot of the muscles.
Now let's come into our pause position. And let's go ahead and do the passing clouds, and then we'll come back to pause. And see if you can do all of this motion with the arms without lifting the shoulders. And then when you come back to conclude, see if the shoulders stay down. So pause position to begin. Let's step out with the right and go from side to side. Good. Good, Donna. I was noticing you playing with it earlier, and your elbows were nice and wide, but I see you, in fact, were just playing with it because your elbows are nice and tidy. And then, of course, you find that little bit of a rotation. And now let's close by shifting back towards center. Keep those shoulders down and pause. Good. And then let's do the joyous breath. Exhale, inhale, turn it over. Relax those shoulders. So the action of actually breathing, you might be creating tension in your jaw, hence your shoulders and neck. And one more. And now as you come back to your pause position, can you keep those shoulders down? Neck long. I like that, Tom. Neck long. Okay.
So Linda, I have one parting comment that you can kind of think about when you're doing your practice today. It's the movements where we stay down and circle our wrists, whether we're coming up or down. So sometimes we want to express it. And I'm starting to lift my shoulders. So this really is a great one to think about, stretching your neck and just moving the wrists. So notice I'm not locked, but I'm really relaxed and letting the wrists do most of the work. So whether it's bird flaps its wings or the wrist circle taffy, kind of think of my dantians moving my wrists. I'm really stretching my neck, almost like dantians going down, but my head is coming up a little.